Hello everyone, hope you are all doing well. I am S.A. Kare, lecturer in Information Technology from Government Polytechnic Amravati. Today here in our first tutorial, we are going to talk about the introduction to MVC architecture, a swing package and GFC. Okay, so let's begin. The contents. These are the contents that we are going to see in our lecture. Firstly, I'll introduce you to the MVC, what MVC exactly means. Then we are going to see the architecture of MVC, the advantages of MVC architecture. Then we are going to shift our gear to JFC and swing, and then we will talk more about swing package. And finally, I'm going to show you a simple swing application. Okay, so let's begin. So first thing, what is MVC? I think all of you must be aware about Java, since the advanced Java part includes MVC. So when MVC was introduced, it was with an idea to extend the functionality of Java. So how it is extending the functionality? Let's see. The firstly we are going to talk about the full form of what MVC exactly means. So M, it stands for model, V, it stands for view, and C, it stands for controller. Okay, so now what model, view and controller means, that I'm going to elaborate. Okay, so let's just take an example of a restaurant. If you are going to a restaurant, okay, as a uh, as a uh, as a waiter, when he arrives at your table, okay, what he is going to give you? A menu card, right? And he will again pitch the speciality of whatever the items they are special in that particular restaurant. Okay, and what he is going to do is, basically he will ask you to get this particular specialty, a special recipe, and that recipe would then be given to the kitchen where it will be prepared. So now, as you can see on your screen, the model, view and controller defined. What it means? A model, it represents the business layer of the application. A business layer basically means an application is being designed, right? And the data, the updated part of the data, the business logic of the application is present at the model layer. Okay, then what do you mean by view? View, it defines the representation of the application. It's basically the user interface. It is the location where user interacts with the application. And finally, the controller. The controller, it manages the flow of the application. It sits between the model and the view. Okay, so when a user asks something, okay, that that particular request goes to the controller. The controller, it will then communicate with model part, and whatever the updates it is getting, it will be then shifted to the view part where user can view the details. We're going to talk about that later on, so don't worry about that. Again, I'm going to give you one more example just to elaborate the things. Say uh, everybody is aware about the car. Okay, we all know different models of the cars. Okay, so let's take an MVC example of the car. From picture you can get the clear idea. See, you need a fuel to run a car. That considered as a consider that as a model part. A controller is the engine. Okay, so the engine is going to use your fuel. Okay, and where you sit? You sit at the front seat of the car, which is the view part. That's the user interface, where user would actually ask the engine to do something. engine will fetch the fuel from the fuel tank, then your car will run. What user is going to do? It is going to shift the gears or accelerate the car. Now when you're accelerating something, you need some fuel. The engine will get that fuel from the fuel tank. So that's how the exactly working of your car, and similar lines the working of MVC takes place. Okay, so now we'll let's just take a look at MVC architecture. Now see the common similarity, the commonness or the similarity between the architecture and your car. As a user, when you ask something, when you request something, it will be sent through the browser. Okay, the browser, it will send the request. That's the first thing. Then at the controller layer, what controller will do? You are asking something, you need some data. That data you need to fetch from the model part. Okay, so it will ask the data from the model part, gathers the data, updated data is being sent. Okay, then what controller will does? It will give that data to your view layer, and then the view layer, it will send the results back to the browser. Okay, so this is how the MVC architecture specifically works. Okay, so now why this MVC architecture was introduced? See, there are particular advantages of MVC architecture besides normal Java functionality. When the developer is working on the MVC model, you can work on three different layers simultaneously. The model layer, the view layer, and controller layer, you can work on them independently or simultaneously. Okay, and if some application is to be developed, okay, that application can be grown to large scale. From small to large scale, application growth can take place. Okay, so the third thing is the lower dependency, and that's why they are easy to maintain. Because of that independent working, independent nature, the MVC is uh, easy to maintain somehow. Then the model, it can be used by multiple views. See, the model is actually the business logic, and one logic can be the part of different types of views also. So you can basically use your model, use the code again and again, which is present for which can be represented for multiple views. Okay, and now with this, you can express the MVC in an application in a more uh, aesthetic way, you can see, and it can be easily understood by the user. He might be a novice user, or he might be a pro. Now, and you can easily test your application. The testing part becomes very much easier in the MVC architecture. All right, so now just move on to JFC and Swing. JFC, what JFC means? It means Java Foundation Classes. These are set of classes that form the library. Now you must be wondering why JFC and Swing. Actually, you can see that JFC forms such an important set of classes. They were used for constructing the GUI, the graphical user interface, and Swing is a code name that was initially given to the project that was developed first through the JFC component. Okay, so now the Swing name basically frequently is used when we are relating some new components while developing our application. Okay, so now let's just elaborate more on Swing. It's a lightweight GUI. You are aware in Java, when you were initially studying, you were aware about the AWT. That was the toolkit. Okay, the toolkit that was used for developing some GUI based applications. But the AWT applications, they were heavy in terms of memory allocation. But Swing is a lightweight GUI toolkit. It includes very much rich set and number of more widgets. Okay, it includes the packages which makes the GUI component, the Java application, and is definitely more sophisticated and platform independent. And the Swing library, it is based, it is built on the top of the Java AWT. So we can also say that it is it is also giving you the functionality of AWT as well as some more functionality of Swing itself. That is the extension of AWT, you can also say that. Okay, so you can use the Java GUI components like you see button, text boxes in from the library, and you don't need to component create that component from the scratch, so that you just drag and drop that component and then you can easily use it in your program. You don't need to program individually for each component. So that's the speciality of Swing. That means you are given a more GUI, the more GUI focus, so that you don't worry about the coding part of that particular tool. Okay, you just focus on what the tool is going to do. We are going to elaborate and see more on it later on in the video. Okay, now what's the difference between AWT? AWT, they are the components which are platform dependent. If you want AWT, you have to run it on the specific platform. However, the Swing, it is platform independent. And as I already told you, the AWT components are heavyweight. They require more memory space. And the Swing components, they are lightweight. They don't require any specific amount of space and memory as compared to AWT. Okay, the third point is very important point. It doesn't support the pluggable look and feel. You see, the Swing components are much more rich in terms of GUI, and you can change the look, you can change the feel of your project or whatever on which you are working on, so that it will give a bit more, what I can say, uh, a spatial look, a more GUI based, a more aesthetic graphical look, which AWT doesn't support. You have a normal common look which is given in AWT, and since it provides less component as compared to Swing, so the richness of your GUI, when you'll work on Swing, you will find it more more decorative and beautiful as compared to AWT. Okay, and one more most important last point, that is AWT, it doesn't follow MVC. That means no model view controller model or architecture is followed in AWT, whereas Swing is basically based on MVC. Okay, so now we'll see this hierarchy of Swing classes. See, there are different, in front of you there are different component classes list. Okay, so J component is a basic class wherein you can find the JText, combo box, label, list, menu bar, and so many options. There are so many options in the J component class, and we are in our program, when we will talk about that, we are going to see in detail about every specific class. Okay, so that in our practical also we are going to focus on those specific tools that can be embedded in our program and make our widget more beautiful. Okay, so now let's talk about a sample Swing program. See, the code is given in front of you. You have to import the one basic package, that is the javax.swing package. That package is required for the the Swing program basically. Now see here, this is the program which can be implemented on any particular uh, Java based text editor. Okay, not Java based actually, any particular text editor wherein wherein you can save the program and run it in a uh, text editor. Okay, so now what it does basically, that the first line you see jframe f is equal to new jframe, it's going to create an instance of jframe, and we need a button whose name is a click button. See here, the set bounds is a method which is used to set the x-axis, y-axis, width and height dimensions of your button. Okay, then add method is used to add the button to the JFrame. Now this is the hard coded program. Okay, you just what would be the output of this program? You'll get a button, you'll get a frame. If inside the frame there would be a button, and that button shows click written on it. That's it. And it has we are setting some specific bounds, that is height, width, and you can set the size of your frame also. So within that particular frame you will get the button. Just a simple swing program. Okay, now moving on, we will see one more practical part of it. I have the NetBeans IDE installed on my laptop. Okay, now I'll create one simple Maven project. Say I'm getting a JFrame form. I can give a new class name, say hello. Okay, and I'll start working. You see, you'll all see that there's a swing container class which we have already studied, right? Lastly, in the hierarchy of classes we have seen. So from here you can see there are so many controls and and GUI based tools which are present over here in the right pane, right? There are properties set over here, and this is the design window where you are going to do all the coding. So let's say you insert a panel over here. You can now see when you just insert a panel, this is the functionality which Swing provides you. Here there are properties. You can set those properties, right? The properties window. Okay, and this is the panel wherein you can make your own GUI based application, say for example. Okay, now let's say we are inserting a button over here. Its default name is J button. Now the most important part which I want you to focus is this source part. In the source part you will get whatever you are inserting in the design part, the code which will be easily coming in the source part. So see, we have inserted a panel and we have inserted a button. All right, so the coding is not to be thought about when you are the source code for any particular tool is not to be thought about when you are doing your programming. Okay, now see, just say for example I'm inserting a text field over here. Okay, I'll rename the text field as, say for example, uh, J text field. So I'll have to I want to keep it blank, right? And the J button one, say I'll make the name as click. Okay, so now you see the look of button, the name of the button, that is the text written on it, has been changed. Okay, now third part, which is very important part, is now we are going to say for example we are designing a program wherein we'll type some text over here, say my name, and it will print hello and then my name. So how to code over here? I'll just double click over here. You will see the code has the action performed method is now been invoked. So I'll have to write my code over here. So what I'm going to do, just simply take the take a one variable, say of the form string a equal to the jtext field, sorry, the jtext field dot get text. Okay, that get text method, I think I have, yeah, jtext field 1, sorry, the jtext field 1 dot get text. So what get text method will do, whatever I am writing inside the jtext field, that that string will be now passed to a variable a. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print something, say hello, uh, before the string that I'm inserting inside the jtext field. Okay, so say for example I'm printing one message. Okay, so sorry, a string variable, one more string variable equal to double quote, say hello plus a. Okay, so now here you can see this is giving you a warning that message variable is not used. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to display one message box. Okay, so how it can be displayed, j option pane, right, j option pane dot, see, you get the list of all the methods. Okay, so what I want, show message dialog. Now there are three types of show message dialogs, out of which I want the component, that is the parent component, and the object message. Okay, now what's going to be my parent component? It is going to be the exact window where I want that message to be printed. A message variable appears here and I want that window to be operated over here. Now let's go to design part. You can see there's a preview of design which can be viewed from here. If I click over here, you see this is how the preview looks like, right? So now I'll just run my file. I'll go over here, run my file. Okay, it might take some time to run depending on the processor and everything. All right, yeah, now it appears over here. So if I say my name and if I click over here, it says hello Sekai. All right, so this was the introductory part of the swing. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and we'll come up with more and more videos. Hope you all